So these woke Democrats, they've really come out as kind of anti-blue collar. I don't know if you've been seeing their memes, stuff like that going around. To own MAGA, they're denigrating like the blue collar working class.
What the heck?
Yeah, they're like putting out these memes.
Yeah, instead they want to glorify people not working and getting a check from the government.
Right.
Like, I thought they cared about the regular people, but apparently they only care about those who are leeching, not those who are actually working and helping society.
Well, when you leech, you vote Democrat, you know, and I mean, that's part of it. So, Kyle Kalinske put out this meme, which is going around on the left. It shows like an American guy working in basically a sweatshop, bunch of Americans. And like, basically he gets totally ratioed. I wrote, why does the left think that this work is beneath them?
Exactly.
It's curious that this type of work is only for brown people in third world countries.
Yep.
What's wrong with this work? If you go to his tweet, you know, 3.6 thousand likes, 2,400 replies. Here I ratioed him pretty good, 7,000 replies. George G Prime says, yeah, it's called work. Ever done any?
Exactly.
Like, what?
Wow.
Yeah, it's really weird. Like, I mean,
what is going on? Now they're looking down on it? Like, what?
All Americans used to do this work. Like,
yeah, my mom did that. My mom worked at a factory before she got married, and she would sew golf bags. Like,
yep, my mom made wallets.
Yeah, yep.
My mom made wallets her entire life. Now she has like a different job working at a retirement home, but I mean, like, it was because their factory closed.
Right.
Because China could make the wallets cheaper. And my dad worked in a factory his whole life. He retired there. And like, what's wrong with that? Mm-hmm. Like, literally, here we have Jasmine Crockett in a church saying this.
So I had to go around the country and educate people about what immigrants do for this country, or the fact that we are a country of immigrants.
Right, right.
The fact is, ain't none of y'all trying to go and farm right now.
Nobody cheered for it, by the way.
Good, because
nobody cheered for that.
Does she not realize what that sounds like? Oh, we need our immigrants to go pick cotton for us.
Yeah, right.
Like, seriously?
Oh, you know what's funny? Just hold on. I got something for you in the next 15 seconds.
Okay, so I'm lying. Raise your hands. You're not.
Why?
You're not. We done picking cotton.
She even said that.
We are. You can't pay us enough to find a plantation.
I know that's right.
So she literally
said it.
We're done picking cotton. Let's get people from other countries to pick our cotton for us. Like, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I mean,
she's advocating for the very thing that the BLM and all of that, like they still want reparations for that, and that they didn't even do. And she's wanting to do that to other people. That's the thing, is the left, they pretend like, oh, they're this, that, and the other. They are not anti-slavery. They are pro-immigration slavery. That's what they want.
Just not them. Yeah.
Yeah, just not them.
Isn't it weird how, like, and by the way, you can look all over X. You have leftist accounts basically saying this. Like, oh, you know, we're not going to work in sweatshops, and we're not going to work in the... It's like, well, so you are inferring that sweatshops need to exist. And it needs to be full of brown people. Right. Like, because my iPhone. Exactly. You know, I need a new iPhone, so, you know, I need more brown people. Is wildly racist. Yep. And wildly like I said this on Twitter, even like I forget what his name is, Jeremy Kauffman. He put out a tweet and was like, I pray my kids never work in a factory. And I was like, dude, he's not even a leftist. And by the way, after getting brutally ratioed, he deleted it. But I wrote, wow. Both my parents worked in factories, provided a great life for my sister and I. Gifts under the tree every Christmas, help when we needed it for college, and a nice home with a big backyard to play in. I guarantee you they don't regret it one bit.
I think a lot of people would even rather factories. Like, if I were to think about it, okay, I'm working at a factory and sewing up golf bags or something, that's kind of even better than having to be to be in a high social situation like a customer service taking calls all the time. Some people might even prefer that type of work. So it's just like I understand the idea of if somebody is going into a factory and they're working 18 hours a day and they're getting paid absolute trash, something like that. But with actual legal and fair pay, I mean, come on, and regular hours.
Well,
come on.
It's because the kid generation that was raised on iPads, they cannot fathom doing actual work.
That's true.
Like they're like, work in a factory, that's just for the poors. Like I have friends that work in the Target distribution factory,
right? Who
make $27 an hour.
Yep.
That's 60, and then they work overtime all the time. So all of them make like $100,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
That's more money. $100,000 a year. What's wrong with that?
That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, getting paid $25 to $30 American in a factory. That's a literal. I mean, no debt. I'm not saying like the Amazon fulfillment center is a factory, but like my dad used to make $30 or $40 an hour in a factory. You know, when he would be on time and a half, or I forget what they would call. They used to do this thing called incentive, where like if you worked, there would be like a quota, and if you did more than that, you would get a raise. So like if you made $20 an hour, but you worked at 120%, you would get paid $24 an hour. And he would always be at 140% until his pussy ass union got rid of it.
Oh.
That's why I hate unions. Like unions were like, oh, well, they want to lay off a bunch of people. And my dad was like, good, they suck. I'll work at 180%.
Right.
But like unions, protect lazy people in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
But like,
that's true.
Nothing wrong with working in a factory. Wildly telling that the far left is like, in their mind, factory work is only for the poors.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and that's the thing too, is they act like nobody wants to. Oh, nobody is going to want to be a farmer. Nobody's going to want it. There are some people who do want these jobs too, because there are some people who are just, that's their specialty, is more working with their hands. And
my brother-in-law is a farmer. He loves it.
Yeah. I know there's a lot of farmers in my family and they love it. And that's the thing too, is like, I saw on TikTok too, once they got rid of a lot of the illegal immigrants, then this guy was like, finally, I've been trying to get a job. It looks like this guy was like, he was also recently like out of prison. I don't know about how recent, but out of prison, trying to do better for his life. He's like, I've been just doing these ride shares and these food deliveries and stuff, trying to do better for myself. And now, because the illegal immigrants a lot of them have gotten deported, I was able to get a construction job. And he was so grateful for it. And he's like, thank you, Donald Trump. So it's like, there are plenty of people who want these kind of jobs.
Yeah, he's barking because Auntie Maggie's here and she must be standing outside on her cell phone or something. Yeah, I mean, it's been wild to see how the left thinks things are made. Like in their mind, they have no comprehension of the 1970s in America.
Exactly.
Where literally everybody worked at a factory.
Yeah.
Like everybody in my family worked in a factory. My mom, all of her brothers and sisters, my dad, all of his brothers and sisters worked in factories, made $25 to $30 an hour. Like in the 70s and 80s, they were making 40 or 50 grand a year. I remember when I was 18 and I got a job repairing computers. My dad once was like shocked. So when I was 18, my first job, I was good at it. And I was making like $25 an hour repairing computers. I almost didn't go to college because my dad was like, you're making 50 grand? You're never going to need another penny in your life. Boy, was he wrong. But like, this is coming from a guy whose first job, he made $2 an hour, so he, even at that point in his life, he was making 40 grand a year. I was starting at 50, but for 30 or 40 years, he supported our whole family in that factory. And, my parents worked alternating shifts. So one would always be home with the kids. I never looked down on that work.
Right.
I was like, dude, my dad goes to work every day. He works on Saturdays for overtime. So maybe we could go on vacation or get a swimming pool. Like I always respected the hard work that my mom and my dad and my mom did.
Yeah.
My mom worked at a place called Amity and made wallets, handmade leather wallets back when, people weren't importing it all from China.
Right.
She made a good living. And her work actually paid for her to go back to college. So they paid for her to get a degree in like management or something like that while she was, working. I don't know exactly what my mom did at that, but I don't think she was management. I think she was like working on production line somewhere, but like she never complained in 40 years. Even right now, in 41 years and 363 days of my life, I never heard my dad or my mom ever complain once about work. Ever.
Right.
Not one time.
Yeah.
And like this modern generation and like this lefty crap, they've never worked. They have no idea what work is like. So even doing like a little bit of it is like, whoa, they're like, why are we going backwards? That's what they'll say. Why are you cheering America going backwards? I'm like, dude, this country was built on manufacturing, you idiot. And it's not like I'm talking about 500 years ago. I'm talking about 30 or 40 years ago. Anyway,
and that's the thing too, is if helping this country and helping America and not having to do a sweatshop setup means that we're not getting phones every year and that new upgrades are once every 5 years, for example, to me, that's a better alternative. Yeah. Back in the day, they didn't have all these like really fancy phones every single year. They didn't have all this and that. Oh, all the new Jordan shoes every year and all of these fancy, everybody, I think one thing that really was hugely negative on society was like the whole Kardashian mindset is once the Kardashians reality show like started
do nothing, get rich.
Everybody, a lot of the youth are like, "Ooh, I want to live like a Kardashian." And
now it's streamers, right?
Yeah, and now streamers are doing that. So where it's like, oh, look at these rich streamers, and they all want to live like that, and they all want to have the latest luxury. And that impacts society because then, ultimately, if everybody's getting these luxuries and if all of these luxuries have to be made en masse, then, look at all of these sweatshops and child labor and this and that that's going on in other countries right now. So it's like, hey, maybe we need to try to dial back on this whole consumer culture. And,
I agree.
Yeah.